Hello, and how's it going today? And boy, am I excited to talk about this movie. Yes, that is the latest Insidious movie, Insidious the Red Door. And oh my god, this movie I was excited to watch. I was about to watch something stupid until I thought, you know what? I can watch this movie, why not? Brilliant. I'm just really like, this movie for me was just incredible. Like, everything about it was incredible. Now I'm not sure how much of it I would explain. I will give away spoilers as per usual because I watched the movie. I want to talk about it and how I felt about it. I mean, wow. I'm gonna have to explain this movie as short as I can, similar to the Saw movie. But I have to explain it. As short as I can. So it starts off with Josh, and it's fine. Josh being the dad. Patrick Wilson plays him my way. I think it's a Patrick Wilson, something like that. I'll double check that later. So yeah. It's off with the family, right? And this old dude called Carl. I mention his name, but they didn't mention his name at the start of the movie, but mention his name later on. You know what I mean? And then he says talks about going to sleep and whatnot and stuff like that, and it cuts off to 9 years later, and with the funeral and stuff like that, and Dalton, which is Josh's son, goes to a college, or I assume it's a college, which is he's studying for art, and he has this roommate called Chris. Chris is a female character, by the way, so it's all male as I thought, and yeah, so shows him the drawings, takes his drawings and stuff like that, and I think it's Josh's mum, Josh's grandmother that passed away, something like that, and then no, Josh's mum, and then Dalton's grandmother, you know what I mean anyway. And Dalton doesn't like Josh that much at first as dad, but he gradually just like starts to be more friendly with him and stuff like that. So it's a lot to get through in this movie. And then as he's doing this art class, he starts to draw this red door because he starts to remember something. And as he gradually draws it, a hand comes out from near the end of that drawing. And believe you me, this movie, it was nearly making me shiver. I was nearly like this. I was no, not necessarily. I was like, this. When I tell you how tense this movie it gets tense. And there was a scene with like Josh was wondering why his memory was all foggy, and then as he's in this what's it, this bed thing that you go into they scan your brain and the lights just turn off. Right, immediately he thought maybe it's the doctor trying to just did his pursuit, maybe just turn the lights or something. And this old woman crawls out from nowhere and appears in front of me, just starts to get up. It was all it's all tense. I'm telling you. And then when this back at the college, Dalton keeps falling asleep and he sees you know these demons and stuff that's been haunting him and his dad for years, that years and years on end. And then Chris starts to help, and yeah, I'm telling you what, it's too much in this movie to get through. I don't do two parts of talking about the same movie, so I'm gonna explain as much as I can. And there were some good scenes in that. I think when he eventually falls asleep, that's when it gets me too. That's when the characters fall asleep. That's when it scares me a little bit too, because that's when they get into the dream pattern state. The quality of this movie, the graphics, I'm telling you, is off the chain. It's out of this world. A friend of mine's told me this movie was boring. I don't know what movie she was watching. Maybe she was watching Territory, which is an awful movie. This movie right here is probably one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. One of the scariest too. The first one will always be my favorite, but this one might just take the cake here. And then the dad tries to find out what's happening. And what I don't get about this movie is how are these characters forgetting why they're going through this? That's the only thing. It's not even a negative. It just baffles me why these characters always get confused by what's happening to them. Maybe the possessions took over them too, and they obviously have to stop Red Door because he keeps playing this Red Door, and he has a demon there, and he doesn't remember that his dad was possessed at one point. That's the thing that interested me the most, is that he didn't know his dad was the one that got possessed. That all these characters have forgotten what they've been for the previous movies. So it's kind of like this movie. This is a real horror movie right here. I'm telling you. And Josh starts researching stuff. I was like, you've been through this. So if you don't know that they go through sleep paralysis, which is astral projection, and where basically you sleep and your body goes out into another dimension and whatnot, stuff like that. And there was a scene where Dalton went into Chris's room, into her own room or something like that. And she started playing with a piano, and she was not in sleep paralysis then. So it kind of makes me wonder, if you're in hospital right now, how many of those people we know are going through the same thing right there, and they're just all spirits, but we think it's just nothing basically. We think it's just spirits from like other dimensions or demons or whatnot. It could just be them. And one scene that freaked me out the most, one of the scenes was when Dalton was in like this guy called Nick's room because like a party happening, and I think Chris wanted to mess around or something like that with one of Nick's stuff, and Dalton to get eventually like hears someone vomiting in the toilet. So he's like, "Oh, is that Nick or something like that? Is it probably somebody from the party?" And then eventually this guy was continuously vomiting. And as this guy got from the toilet, his face was all like demonically possessed or something like that. His face looked all disfigured. He had no pupils in his eyes. His peacemaker stop the door, and he's like, he had to close it, and he went to bed. And another part in that scene, that same room, he gets up from the bed and he sees the same puking dude, that puke in his face. It's like that freaks me out when I see scenes like that. And the quality of this movie, the editing of how to do that is just magnificent. I gotta say, and there's so much in this movie. You're gonna have to watch it because by the time I explain all of it, it's gonna get to 15, 20 minutes probably, and I can't even record for more than 15 minutes on this. So I'm doing the best I can here, and I just love how the storyline of this movie is perfect. It's just brilliant. There was another scene where it really gripped me as well, where I think was it Josh was taught to be a kids game to make him forget or make him like get less stressed out of his mind because his brain was all foggy, and he was doing like matching like so he had this cardboard and he had pictures on it, so he lifts them up and he had to match them and stuff like that, and he timed himself. And then there was a scene where somebody crashed through his window. And I was just like, that got me. I knew a jump scare was coming. I just the thing that I love about this movie is that jump scares coming, but it still grips you. The storyline, the climax, and the tension of the storylines is like this. Like it made me go like that. I was basically like that. It was crazy. This movie gets intense. I thought the first 20 minutes. I thought, oh, probably a bit disappointing. Nothing's happened. 20, 25 minutes until then. They started kicking off from there. So he basically does, and he gets attacked by I think this kid, I don't know what this kid is called. I don't know what this person is called. I don't know. I think it was this one dude or something. And he went near to him and there's push him and stuff like that. And it's too much to get through. I tell you what, this the reason why this movie is so good is the detail they put into it too. And it's made by Blumhouse Productions too. I think it's Blumhouse. Their movies are phenomenal. Blumhouse makes the best movies. I'm gonna have to search all their movies up because their movies just never fail to disappoint. And they're trying to find a way to stop it. And obviously, I thought The Last Key was the last one, but with the name like Red Door, it was similar as Hell and whatnot. So, the Red Door is probably shots of the spirit side. That's probably why it was the last one. So, it's this film is just wild, man. You need to watch. If you haven't seen it already, it's a must watch. I knew this movie was going to be brilliant when I first watched it. As soon as I got into it, I was like, I'm hooked on it. The music as well, the soundtrack, everything about this is brilliant. I couldn't find a negative. There's no negative at all in this movie. And as the movie progressed, Dalton obviously was, trapped by this demon, and he was the one that was getting possessed in this like sleep stage. And as his dad came into it, his dad had to rescue him as he did with his previous son. And then it went back to, what was it? Dalton remembering. Like, he was in this dimension where he was in the past. And I don't remember, I thought this scene actually happened. I think it was in this first or second one where the dad was possessed. And I was wondering why they never showed more of that scene because it was in the basement and Josh was actually possessed by this demon and he got a hammer to break up the walls and, scaring his like ex-wife and his kids. And then that's when Dalton started realizing that his dad was the one that's giving these bad demonic memories. And that's what the kids were trying to remember with that specific day. And I thought that scene happened. But as I remember it now, I don't remember them showing that sort of scene. Maybe they did, I just don't remember it. But I love how this movie just backtracks a bit to see what they show more of the story and deeper into it. And then I don't know. And Josh had to, Dalton had to stop Josh from actually. I think it was like Dalton that was the one that was sleeping, the kid when he was a kid, then stopping him, and saying that was me and us and stuff like that. And the demons like they're trapping Dalton. I mean, they got the dad first, so they're gonna get the kid next. I knew Dalton was gonna go through this. I had a feeling. Story was building up to this. and it was crazy. It's wild, and there was this scene where Josh was with his wife, wanted to know more about what was happening because he couldn't remember getting possessed. When you get possessed by something, I don't think you can remember it because it's not you. And he was going through pictures, and he looks at the pictures like he doesn't remember why what was going on, but he looked at these pictures before in the first movie. So that's what got a bit confused about there, but maybe it's because he got possessed and they sort of forgot about everything, and maybe I don't know. You would think they would remember something like that. There was a lot more happening when he wasn't possessed. Strangely enough, if so got onto it, and he had to make Dalton escape, and that's what I love. It was thrilling. That's another word. There's so many words to describe. There's probably one word I'm missing, which I'm trying to get out, but I just can't seem to get out. And then there was a scene where Josh had to hold the door to help Josh. But Dalton, he needed Dalton's help to hold the door. But Dalton had to go, and Josh was holding the door to help his son out. So he pushed up against the door, and there was this demon. I think this demon was under control and everything. Whereas with the red face and looking all that devilish, and then he sees that paint coming down. And he's like, oh, Dalton's painting because he painted the red door for his art class, and he put all black paint in to block off the door so the demon can't get through. So I can see why that makes sense. So that means the demons can't enter out of that dimension, that realm, as you want to call it. And that also explains why Dalton was afraid of the dark because of what happened that day. So yeah, it was brilliant from there. So what else? Dalton had to go back to his body and stuff like that, and towards the end, I think he painted a picture, and there's a picture of him when he was a kid and his dad trying to help him out from one of the from the first movie when he was a kid. So there was so much information in this movie, so much detail. I'm trying to make it as short as I can. I can't. If you wonder why I can't explain any more good parts, because there's too much to get through. And as he left his ex's, I think this was after he left his ex's house, went to see his son. So after he left his ex's house, when he was in sleep paralysis there, a woman was asking him questions, and I knew who it was. It was that, I forgot the old woman's name now, the psychic. I think the one that passed away from the second one, I think, or first. Yeah, after the first one, after Josh, strangling her, stuff like that. So yeah, after that, so we see she was asking it's kind of place to live and talking about his mom and stuff like that. And I knew she had to come back into it. She had to. I thought she was gonna come back to help him hold the door, but it turns out she appeared at the end. I thought, wow, okay, that was pretty touching near the end. I like that storyline moment there, that piece of dialogue. He remembered her. Very strange indeed, to be honest. And as it ended, I thought it's gonna be one of those horror movies. There's another odd jump scare, like the one that gets you. There wasn't, unfortunately, but I knew this movie was going to be a must watch. I have to rate this a 10 out of 10. This is the only movie where there's no negativity. It's a perfect horror movie all round. It had literally everything. Good storyline, good graphics, good acting, good dialogue, good jump scares in it too. Good, well, I'm going to say demons into it too, because there's some movies that have demons in it. So everything was brilliant about this whole movie. Blumhouse, you've done yourself proud with this one. You may be a bit disappointed with the second one, but this one here takes a cake. This is one of my favourite horror movies. So thank you for making this, and thank you for making it so darn good. Whoever thinks this movie is boring, they're crazy. Literally, it's a fact that this is one of the scariest horror movies I've ever seen. Period. 10 out of 10. The lowest I could give him was a 9, but 10 out of 10 is perfect. Despite this sort of movie. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give a like, comment, share if everybody know, subscribe and hit the bell notification bell as I see you in my next video.